The three defensible skills, as I see it today, and I reserve the right to change my mind at any point, new information, new choices, is this. There's three things. I call it TVC. First off, you need to understand that taste is the difference maker.
Dan Martell's story is one of the most powerful I've ever heard, not just because he went from jail to a 9-figure portfolio, but because that journey forged a unique perspective on technology. He doesn't just see AI as a tool for productivity, he sees it as the ultimate force for personal reinvention, the same way learning to code saved his life decades ago. In this conversation, he lays out a vision for the AI era that is so clear, so profound, it fundamentally redefines what a company is and what a single human is capable of achieving.
They've joked in the AI community that there's going to be billion-dollar companies with one employee, and they're right.
Yeah.
That's like mind-blowing. Like, how is that even possible?
Beautiful question. So if you think of how AI works as the ability to take an input, reason, and what is not widely understood or adopted today is do. So the separation right now is what I call the directors and the doers, okay? In current world, most people do both. A little bit of thinking, a lot of doing, right? If you think of somebody that does accounting, a little bit of thinking, but for the most part, they're reconciling bank accounts and books, okay? They're just doing. An administrative assistant, right? I wrote a whole book on this. A little bit of thinking, a lot of sorting, a lot of doing, a lot of booking, a lot of coordination, but it's not directing, right? And what AI is eventually going to take care of is all the doing part. So right now we're starting to see this, the beginning with agents in ChatGPT, which is a feature, where it can now log in to software and take action on your behalf. Not just be a thought partner and ask it questions and give you answers, but literally give it a problem, it give you the answer, and then it'll prompt you, do you want me to do that for you? And you say yes, and then it goes into the software and does the thing on your behalf. If you haven't seen that, it's wild. So if you think about it, how could somebody have $1 billion company with no employees? Well, essentially all the doing that they normally would have an employee base to do is all done by the agentic systems.
This is the most important concept to grasp about the future of work: the director versus the doer. For centuries, the value of a company was tied to its number of employees, its scale of doing. Martell is saying that entire model is about to be inverted. The future of value creation isn't about managing people anymore. It's about directing swarms of AI agents. The one-person billion-dollar company isn't run by a superhuman, it's run by a master director, a pure strategist whose only job is to provide the vision and make the critical decisions. The AI agents will handle everything else: marketing, legal, finance, execution. This isn't just an evolution of business, it's a mutation. It redefines the very meaning of leverage. But to become that one director, you need a new kind of literacy. It's not about learning complex code, it's about mastering a language we already know.
I'll give you some stats. ChatGPT, which is what most people think of AI, came out only 32 months ago.
Crazy.
Today, 700 million people use it every week. Not month, every week. It's the fastest adopted technology in the history of mankind. More than the browser, more than the internet, more than Facebook, more than Instagram, more than anything. It's the only technology that as you use it, it gets better. Electricity is a technology. The more electricity you use didn't make electricity better. Electricity is electricity. AI, the more it's used, the more it learns, the better it gets. We've seen it evolve in the last 32 months, ChatGPT and many other language models. And it is the most powerful technology to dramatically improve your life I've ever seen. More than mobile, more than social, more than the internet. Here's what I believe, Calum. It's like everybody thinks they have problems. But if every problem you have is no longer a problem, then what's the problem to solve? Because the truth is there's no problem that you could have. You could tell me the problem right now and I'd feed that into AI and it would give you your answer. to solve it. So what's the problem to solve? Comes down to sequencing. Literally, what do I do today versus tomorrow versus next week versus next month? And that's such a wild place that everybody distributed 100%. As long as you have the internet, you have access to the same power that I do. Everybody.
Pay close attention to what he's saying here. The entire nature of problem solving has just changed. He argues that we no longer have problems, we only have sequencing challenges. The answers exist, instantly accessible through AI. The only task left for us is to ask the right questions in the right order. This is a monumental power shift. For the last 30 years, the gatekeepers to creation were those who could write code. That gate is now gone. The new universal programming language is English. The ability to clearly articulate a vision, to prompt an AI, to sequence a series of tasks, that is the new high-value skill. This is the single biggest unlock in technological history because it democratizes the power to build, and it means you can start creating value today. And Dan doesn't just leave it at the theoretical level. He lays out the exact, shockingly simple business model this new reality enables.
I literally learn how to automate using AI and find any business that's willing to pay me to do that for them. Now, if you're in the bubble right now, you think that people are doing this. I'll give them a simple test to go do. Call local businesses off of Google Maps, any business. And first off, see how many people answer the phone. Most don't. And if there's a phone that answers, see if it's a directory or a human being, because most of them are still directories. Thanks for calling. For this, press 1. For this, press 2. Here's why I say that. You learning how to just automate those calls for that business will make them money and will make you look like a genius. And it's probably the simplest thing to learn. It's not that hard. There's platforms like Vapey, Voice API, or Atlas, youratlas.com, where you can use and set it up for the business. Again, when the internet came out, the businesses knew they needed a website, but they didn't know how to build the website. They didn't know how to buy a domain, register a domain, build the website, the HTML. They didn't know how to update the text. And people came along and did that for them, and they made billions of dollars. Go back in the history and go look, 99, 2000, there's companies that went public, billion-dollar companies. All they did was build web pages for businesses that were trying to get on the internet. We're in the same world, man.
This is it. This is the ground floor opportunity. He's making a direct comparison to the late 90s when people made fortunes simply by building basic websites for businesses. The modern equivalent is AI automation. The gold rush isn't just in building the next foundational model. The immediate, massive opportunity is in being the bridge for the 99% of businesses who are overwhelmed and lagging behind. He's talking about something incredibly simple: automating phone calls, scheduling, or customer support. These aren't complex problems. They are solved problems. The value isn't in inventing a new technology, but in applying the technology that already exists to businesses that desperately need it. He's handing out a blueprint to $1 million business in 18 months, and the only prerequisite is the will to learn and execute. But as this becomes more common, the technical skill of setting up these automations will become a commodity. So what skills will actually keep you valuable in the long run? Martel has an answer for that, too.
The 3 defensible skills, as I see it today, and I reserve the right to change my mind at any point, new information, new choices, is this. There's 3 things. I call it TVC. First off, you need to understand that taste is the difference maker. See, AI can only give you what it knows based on what we've created in the past as a human species. It doesn't create. It is essentially a fancy autocomplete. That's a very simplistic way to say it, but technically that's what it is, right? It's predicting the words based on tokens, based on math. Taste is the human ability to look at something and go, there's something there, right? The lighting, the sound. It's what music producers do. It's what Rick Rubin does. It's what a great chef does. You see what I'm saying? It's taste. It's a vibe. It's a feeling. So developing your taste is a skill. You can do that. How? Exposure. Looking at a lot of examples of world-class stuff in that domain, from food to music to software to whatever it is. So taste is the first one. Second one is vision. See, vision isn't about like pretending to see the future. It's having a vision for the future that doesn't exist yet that should. That's the qualifier. That doesn't exist that should. I have a lot of friends in the software world that had a vision of some innovation they wanted to build. They built it. Nobody wanted it. Right? I just saw a whole expose about these vegan protein plant-based burgers. All hot. And now the stock's down 90%. Why? Turned out the world doesn't really want that kind of product. Maybe it changes, but I'm just saying, like, vision is the ability to have clarity around the future of something that doesn't exist that should.
And the third skill he mentions is care, emotional intelligence. This TVC framework, taste, vision, and care, is the most important takeaway for anyone worried about being replaced. Martel is arguing that our most uniquely human qualities are now our most valuable economic assets. AI has analytical intelligence, but it has no taste. It can extrapolate from existing data, but it cannot have a vision for a future that should exist. And, most critically, it cannot genuinely care. These are the defensible skills of the new era. It's not about competing with AI on logic and data processing. We will lose that battle every time. It's about doubling down on the things AI can't replicate: human intuition, creative foresight, and genuine empathy. This is the new trinity of skills for anyone who wants to be a director, not a doer. This entire perspective is driven by his conviction that we're living through a change as fundamental as the invention of electricity.
I thought it was wild that I was living through like some of the other massive transformation, mobile. Like if you think of like FaceTime, if you went back 100 years, they would burn you at the stake.
Yeah.
Because it looks like magic. And AI is the same thing. It feels like magic. You know, a long time ago, in this space of technology, we've been talking about artificial intelligence forever. And there's this guy, Kevin Kelly, and he had this quote. And he used to say, what is electrified will be cognified. And like now when I see these open source mini language models that you can install on a phone that can do what it does without internet, because that's how it works, I'm like, holy cow, everything that has electricity will have intelligence. What does that world look like? You know what I mean? Like, what is a world when the light has intelligence? When this has intelligence? When these mics have intelligence? And there's no longer a need to turn on lights, turn off lights, set mics, set this. It's intelligent. It knows, just like a person would know. It's cool. A lot of people will go dark side of that. I'm an optimist. I think it's going to create a space for people to have the freedom to choose how they want to live.
What is electrified will be cognified. This is the macro view, the grand vision. We are moving from a world of dumb objects to a world of ambient intelligence. This isn't just about better chatbots or more efficient businesses. This is about the fundamental fabric of our reality becoming interactive and intelligent. When your lights, your car, your home, when everything with a circuit also has a mind, the world operates differently. Dan's optimism here is critical. He doesn't see this as a dystopian future, but as a liberating one. A future where technology handles the mundane, freeing up human potential for creativity, connection, and vision. He's not just seeing a new app or a new market, he's seeing a new layer of existence being built right before our eyes. So what does all of this mean for you? I believe the great divide of the 21st century won't be between the rich and the poor, or the educated and the uneducated. It will be between the directors and the doers, those who learn to command AI, and those who end up taking commands from it. The tools are here, the path is clear. The only question left is, which one will you be? Let me know your thoughts in the comments.
And if you're ready to embrace this future, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss what's coming next.